rightly so. Everybody was angry about it. Everybody was asking that arrests be made, and in all of that, there was a caution from all of us here that we will need to hear the side of the MP and as well the other who was not in the country, that's Alhaji Colin Stauder, with respect to everything that's been said, even as there was, quite frankly, and you can agree from wherever you sit, anger as to what transpired. The Member of Parliament has had cause to respond, and this morning Crosby's walked us through it, but perhaps we'll walk through it again for those of us who are just joining. We're streaming live on Facebook, by the way. Our handles 3FM927, same as on YouTube. We're streaming there as well. And in our Facebook stream, since we started, we've shared quite a number of you who've been sharing your thoughts with us. We've shared your messages across as well. And so do well and find us there and leave a message for us on this particular subject matter and any other one that we'll be discussing here on the show this morning. And we certainly, most certainly, will do the reading of those comments for you. But this is the account of Ebenezer Kwekwado. I have the soundbite of Colin Stauder. We'll hear from him as well subsequently after we've walked through Ebenezer Kwekwado's statement of account with respect to what he believes transpired and why he believes perhaps everything has been taken out of context and he's been accused wrongly as well over this subject matter. But he says that on the 1st of November, he was on his way to a funeral in Achirensia in the Esuatifi South constituency when he learned of tensions at Shidium linked to a military operation at a gold mining site. He contacted the Member of Parliament for that particular constituency because that's not his constituency. That's the Honourable Alhaji Colin Stauder, who's the Member of Parliament for Esuatifi. And if you're following us on Facebook as well as on YouTube, there's an infographic which we're sharing capturing essential import of the message or the statement the Member of Parliament put across yesterday. And so be there and follow us through as we read that. And so he says he contacted Honourable Colin Stauder and who asked him rather to visit the site and engage the military on his behalf. Now he says that upon arrival, the Honourable Ado introduced himself to the military and sought to de-escalate the situation as some youth were gathering at the scene. He advised all parties to move to the police station to make official statements and hand over seized items and suspects to ensure calm. At the Shidium police station, he worked alongside the military, police officers, NIB operatives, and other security personnel as statements were taken. He invited the Zongo chief of Shidium to help restore peace. The chief later transported some military officers in his vehicle. That's it, right? He says that after the Honourable Ado left for other funerals, the Zongo chief's vehicle was attacked with its rear glass smashed. He has denied inciting the youth or obstructing any security operation, emphasizing his actions were guided by the need to maintain peace and order. He's expressed disappointment that the police reports did not acknowledge his efforts in calming the situation. He urges the public to disregard false reports meant to tarnish his image, and he's reaffirmed his commitment to law, order, and safety of his constituents and all Ghanaians. And so that's the Esuatifi North Member of Parliament's position on the matters which transpired. We also know that the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry issued a statement yesterday, and there are portions of this, Crosby, you help us with this, where I think it piques interest as to what is expected to happen going forward.
So if you listen to, or if you read the statement from the Lands Ministry, the one that has the name of Park Sishan, of the Media Relations Officer, the last but one paragraph. I'm talking about the third paragraph is where the meat of the statement is. But we can start from here. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, has taken note of the recent attack on some members of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat during an operation at Broni Krom near Shidim in the Ahafo region. That's the first paragraph of the statement. It continues to say that having been adequately briefed on the matter, the minister strongly condemns the incident which occurred on Saturday, 1st November 2025. Subsequently, the minister has held meetings with the Speaker of Parliament. Now, that's where the meat of the matter is coming. The minister has held meetings with the Speaker of Parliament because the MPs in question, they report to the Speaker, if you like. And the Minister for the Interior, for the conduct of swift and rigorous investigations, the Interior Ministry, because the military were involved. So it's fair that the two groups of people, the two factions, the MPs and then the Interior Minister, be spoken with for swift and rigorous investigations into the unfortunate circumstances. It says this is in line with government's commitment to bring to book all perpetrators who aid, support, or front the continuous decimating of the environment. That's all the statement from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Somebody saw the message yesterday, and then the person said, I want to look for a better word, but the person said, as empty as it may be, at least there's a voice from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. What they're saying is that investigations will be underway into the unfortunate incident.
And so that's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister's position. I want us to hear Colin Stauder again, because he's a subject matter of in all of this. He spoke yesterday, and these are his own words, bits and pieces clipped and brought to you.
So many calls from the constituency soldier for be about operations. Now, me as assemblyman on call, na me Musa, the leading team, na oma me briefing. Assemblyman no the leader of the team, no, wa nemi ankasa. Inti emuna certificate of MP firm say or be ye or me constituency or actually. The mami who say or inti me say no was wrong. On call na me commander of the team and kasa. If you are already only refuse to talk to me. The man, honorable Ebenezer Kwakwado Ba, assembly. No, ni plan be a for about. Na pa me pese me nya briefing every team no, and a man the cars one on call. The quite lampa with the MP there, commander and me kasa. And no man me briefing, so I bet this will be a galamsey or na or demolition in Yamana. Man can't be via phone no cross or sound drop for you in the process. My son friend back. A chill crown and Betty said, or more if he baby are adrenaline a Kasai, a call police station. A man war a whole more attack or man be up attack or more police station or as a meeting money or Christian. So a will any of course I use possible. No, if you use when no one customer make them.
As Colin Stauder says that he's a Christian, and the leader of the NAIMOS team as well should state categorically anywhere that he, Colin Stauder, asks that he releases the officials. We're working the phone lines this morning as well. We'll be seeking to engage quite a number of persons in relation to this, but Council.
Charlie, Crosby read the statement, and personally, I've gone through the statement, and I kept asking myself a lot of questions. There are too many, for lack of a better word, let me say loopholes in the statement. The story is disjointed. Yesterday we said we wanted to give him a fair hearing, at least allow the opportunity for him to be heard, so that we can then draw conclusions. Well, I know that we'll be speaking to one of his lawyers. But if you go through the statement that he issued, there are too many unanswered questions. Number one, you were going somewhere. Then you heard there is confusion It is not your constituency. But a good citizen that you are, you decided to go and find out what's up. That's fine. You get there, you see that it's a state security operation. Then you are calling the member of parliament for the area to do what? Put a stop to it? Do what exactly? Why was he calling the Honorable Collins Dauda? To do what exactly? Because you got there, you realize it's a state, it's a lawful action by state security. They are not, and you know it's an illegal site, at least from the conversation he would have known, right?
Oh, he says when he arrived in the town, if Kunzo can have that come up again, there was tension there, and he had heard of a military presence undertaking some action.
So he went to the action site, right?
No,
he saw exactly what
said
it was.
He learned of tensions at Tridium linked to a military operation at a gold mining site.
So he went there.
Yeah.
Then he contacted the Honorable Collins Dauda, who is the MP for the area.
Yeah.
And the Honorable Collins asked him to get closer and see what is happening. Then you call the Honorable Collins Dauda back and say, this is what is happening. Put a stop to it? What exactly? The Honorable Collins Dauda, in his voice, also said he wanted to speak to the leader of the operation.
Yeah.
Because he had attempted through an assemblyman, but was unsuccessful. So through the honorable member, he wanted to engage the leader of the operation. Conveniently, the honorable says the line also dropped when he was asking what exactly the operation is. My tree is broken, but if I get...
You're spot on.
Okay.
You're spot on.
So the Honorable Collins Dauda also is telling us that he did not know what was happening there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he doesn't know what's happening there. The member of parliament who was there did not know what was happening there. That is the impression we are getting.
Illegal mining activity there.
Exactly.
The one that was 10 meters by the roadside. Okay.
They didn't know.
No.
Okay. So you see young people begin to mass up. The NAIMOS account says you incited the people. You say no, when you went there, the people were already there. And some continued to come to the place, to mass up at the place, correct? As member of parliament, what did you do to stop the violence or the growing tension in his word, or anger in the words of the NAIMOS people?
He said he told them to go to the police station.
No, he said the police did not add his voice, his account, actually, his effort at calming the tension. The police didn't do anything. Didn't add his account to that, right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, the people had to go to the police station for no reason. How do you just get up and walk to the police station for no reason?
So he says that the only advice he could give was for them to move to the police station to officially make a statement and then hand over the items and the suspects to the police to calm tensions.
What items? What suspects?
So we know that when...
No, you are telling us what we know. He should tell us what he knows.
Okay.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
So you see, his statement is quiet on that. So you just walk onto the scene.
Right.
Then you say, okay, carry them to... What?
Let me pause you on that, and perhaps we all wear our headsets, because Pakwesi Shandoff is joining us on the telephone lines, and it's a conversation we're all going to have with him in helping us understand exactly what it is that transpired in relation to this particular subject matter. Pakwesi, can you hear us? Good morning to you. I trust that you're well.
Yeah, good morning, brother. I'm good. How are you doing as well?
We're still trying to wrap our heads around exactly what it is that transpired. I'm here with Sixtus, Don Ulo, and then Noble Crosby. And we've seen the statement that you issued as well yesterday, and they are quite interesting elements. First, Crosby mentions a bit about people not really satisfied with the content in that statement, but there are elements within which make for an interesting read. I've heard you on other platforms, some on our sister station, seek to explain what it is that transpired. At this present time, can you provide what is NAIMOS's true version of account in relation to what happened over the weekend?
Well, so first off, good morning to you and to the rest of our listeners across the globe. For this particular time, when I say the rest of our listeners across the globe, it has essential meaning because I'm speaking outside of the jurisdiction. And so I think it is not a mere greeting for this particular occasion.
Right.
Truth of the matter is that I have not really necessarily essentially conversated on the matter or attempted to clarify the issue on any platform beyond the statements that I issued yesterday on the instructions of the minister based on our observations and diagnosis of the situation. And to add to that, the account of NAIMOS, or maybe the story of NAIMOS that you are interested in, is one that we want to formally hold for the investigative process. Indeed, this development happened, of course, on Saturday. I perhaps may want to say I'm one of the very first persons who had wind of it because, yes, I'm the spokesperson of NAIMOS. On a daily basis, I'm in touch with the Director of Operations. And so the Director of Operations gave me heads up on the challenges they encountered and all of that. But having seen the story that has been, the stories that have been published, the account of the MP and the two MPs actually, I think as of now it's to be materially prudent to hold on to delivering or as it were giving any submission that should pass as the official stance of NAIMOS or NAIMOS's account on the whole event. If I did that now, I'm sure it would be prejudicing the investigative protocols that have been triggered on the authority of the sector minister, who is particularly and extremely concerned. And so, as of now, I do not think, and I hope you could.
It's a subject matter that's garnered a lot of interest. So people are asking questions as to what may have happened. Which will result in military personnel being accosted by town folks and all of that. It's a reason we're asking what they have told you, which even led you to want to have a conversation with the speaker. As a matter of fact, because this should have been a subject matter of investigation purely for the security agencies. But in your statement, you make reference to the fact that you've engaged the speaker on the subject matter, which is why we're asking, what is the account which is making the minister interested in even having a conversation with the speaker?
Now, in the first place, I don't think it is true that the investigative protocol regarding this should be the exclusive reserve of the security agencies. In any case, in the statement, I did indicate that the sector minister had an interaction with the Speaker of Parliament and then the Minister for Interior. The Ghana Police Service falls under the Ministry of Interior, and so really it's one and the same thing. But what I'm saying is that because that protocol has been triggered, or because now we are all going to fall on the outcome of that extensive and rigorous investigative process, I do not think that it would be advisable as of now to render as spokesperson for NAIMOS what is quote and unquote, I'm saying it advisedly, our account of the event. If there is any, and I'm saying this advisedly too as well, but if there is any, tentatively, if there is any that I knew, I'm sure that information should be fed into the investigative box. Then we are all able to come to a definitive closure on the matter. But really, there is a perspective that I have. I'm just saying that as of now, I do not think it will help the whole investigative process. What is, however, apparent is the fact that the event and the incident stands extremely condemnable. The minister shares in that sentiment. He is being greatly appalled by all that has happened.
Right.
And when the outcome
is this an attempt to reconcile the stories? Because I've heard you, and yesterday I was on TV. There was an audio recording of you explaining what had happened. And so someone who asks, are you trying to reconcile stories of the different players in this part such that it comes out as one and clean?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, if there was anything to hide, or if there was anything to conceal whatsoever, or any narrative to massage, I don't think if that intention existed, I would have had a conversation on Sunday evening on your platform with Aisha. Yes, I think Aisha Yakubu was the one who I had that engagement with. Okay, but I am saying that now we have crossed from that part and entered into an investigative phase. I mean, for the fact that we have gotten there now, formally on paper, I do not think that it is administratively prudent to still be conversating openly on an issue that is now a subject of keen investigation that involves the Ministry of for Interior, the Ghana Police Service, the Parliament of Ghana, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and all of that. It may not help the process, and that is why I'm keeping mute for now. But
I understand you. I understand you. But did the Director of Operations, Commander Boa, speak at any point in time with the Honourable Minister, the Honourable MP for Esutufi South, Colin Stauder? Because he has said that he attempted to speak to him via an assemblyman. That was not possible. And he managed to speak to him, Kind Ketty, the Esutufi North Member of Parliament.
Mawana, the question you are asking is basically drawing me back into the substance I'm avoiding. You're basically getting me into it. Their response would effectively lead to us digging into the pros and cons of the whole development, which I'm saying as of now, it would not be a prudent move. So maybe we should move away from there and then discuss other equally tangential, aspects of this particular development. Like I'm saying, look, if not for the fact that we have got into this space, I spoke on your platform.
Absolutely, which is why I'm struggling to come to terms with the fact that we cannot get the detail, because
now we have come to a point now. As of the time I was speaking, I'm saying, and maybe I can say this authoritatively. In fact, I think this is the case. I am the fact. I had wind of this. That's what I'm saying. That yes, as spokesperson for NAIMOS. So on Saturday, it was on Saturday that I even knew about all of this, that there had been a development of this nature. Of course, the sector minister is always the first person to be briefed by the director of operations. As spokesperson, I got the information and all of that. And that is why I honored the invitation to speak. But around that time, yes, we have not heard from the cross parties vis-a-vis the two MPs involved, and bystanders and all of those accounts have not emerged.
Which is why it lends credence to those who want to say that perhaps we're beginning to try and tell one story from every party involved.
Absolutely.
Because you've spoken first time, and now we cannot get further details to get to understand whether or not it is the case truly.
Those who have that impression would be acting extremely unfairly, because I think we can all agree that when investigative protocols are kicked in, it is advisable for us not to be prejudicing the outcomes through our everyday conversations on the issues. Again, if I were pussyfooting the issue or skirting around in the development, I am saying I wouldn't have granted that initial.
Absolutely, but we both know, and the reason I will continue to press you on this is because we share a common background in terms of this job that we're doing, in the sense that when these matters come up and these investigations are conducted, one of the many things citizens use as fact check of the investigative process is the bits and pieces as captured in the news and the explanations that is offered of account of development, such that in the aftermath of the investigation, anybody who's listening to us and has listened to you speak from the onset can draw their own conclusions as to whether or not they are satisfied with the work undertaken by the police or any other investigative body with respect to the happening, such that they know that at X and X date, this was the account which had been provided, and today we're being told something different. I believe you understand. You understand the point from which I'm coming.
Absolutely. Except that the only weakness, for the want of a better word, the only weakness of all of that is the fact that using what appears to be contradictory accounts to assess the veracity or otherwise of a development is not always accurate, because at the very outset, some people who may come out to supply information may not have the facts. Let us also recognize that. Then
absolutely.
When an event evolves, that is when certain facts emerge. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, Marina, as I'm speaking to you authoritatively, I can tell you that there are certain aspects of this which are even perhaps more gory or more complicated that I am aware of, that a lot of people do not even know, and they have not even mentioned. And so if such developments come out later, how are we going to say that, okay, the rest of the accounts that have preceded that outcome are false? No. I'm saying where we are, it is a little bit tricky. That is why I just do not want to.
Do we know where the NAIMOS team, which came under attack, where members of the team, where they are currently? Have they returned to the capital? Do we know?
Well, so their location on any given day, even prior to now, and I think...
not the entirety of the NAIMOS team, but in the aftermath of this event, the specific set of team which came under this attack, have they been brought back to the capital, perhaps an injury or so, because there was the allegation of assault and all of that, such that they are receiving some treatment and they will be given their own version of accounts, is what I'm asking. Reason for my question.
I think if you would be fair to me, you will realize that in our past engagements, anytime you've posed any question that has bordered on the location of NAIMOS, have always been evasive. The reason for the evasiveness is the fact that NAIMOS operates as an intelligence-led outfit, and so at any given point, we hardly disclose their operations, of course, their routines, and then where they are situated at a particular time. But I can assure you that though, yes, I may not be able to mention specifically where they are, the entirety of the team, including the director of operations, are safe and sound as of now. And NAIMOS is not demoralized at all. They are overwhelmingly braced to continue the rest of their activities, even more fortified than now in the fight against illegal mining.
Let's talk the statement then. And that statement makes reference to an engagement with the Speaker of Parliament. Is it to say that you have drawn your own conclusions and you are projecting into the future that you need the cooperation of Parliament to have these MPs investigated if possible? Why have a conversation with the Speaker when this matter could purely be handled by the police, and the Interior Ministry has a number of agencies under it which could be investigating the matter as well?
So we all know that ministers of not ministers, I beg your pardon, members of Parliament, by the protocols of their office and by the privileges of the role that they occupy, if you want to engage them for any investigative process, if you need their cooperation or assistance whatsoever, the Speaker has to, as it were, assist you, and that is where the Speaker comes in. Now, we have gone over this already, where you make mention of why we are not leaving it exclusively to the Ghana Police Service. I have said that the Ghana Police Service operates, under the Interior Ministry, and so for the fact that you have the Interior Ministry, let's just say then clearly it is still the Ghana Police Service. But of course, too, yes, the Speaker's involvement is important, because if at any time, and that will certainly happen, when you need the members of parliament to show up and assist with the process, the speaker has to and be in the know and grant, their should I say release, for the want of a better word, yes. And so that is how come we have had that conversation with the Speaker of Parliament. And then more so, the Speaker is also coming in because clearly the integrity of Parliament has been called into question, because if you look at the bulk of the accusations and the developments and all of that, you can clearly see that MPs have been accused here and there. If MPs have been accused here and there, then clearly Parliament by extension is involved, and therefore the Speaker it becomes an integral character in all of this. So that's the reason we are here now. But the conversations with the Speaker the conversations were very fruitful.
And by fruitful, what do you mean?
That, yes,
and by fruitful, what do you mean?
Absolutely, that he assured fully that he's going to support the Interior Ministry and all the relevant outfits that are in this particular circle to ensure that the matter comes to a very fruitful, objective, and a very impartial conclusion that would only uphold and reveal the truth. And so that is the essence of the fruitfulness of the meeting that the Sector Minister had with the Speaker.
He spoke to his colleague minister as well, the Interior Minister. What was the import of that conversation as well?
Share fruitfulness. The Interior Minister too assured that the investigative process is going to be very professionally done, excellently executed, so that at the end we all come to a closure that we can all agree is a fair and true reflection of the events. If in that there are persons who have to answer certain questions strongly, nobody will be shielded. Repeatedly, the Sector Minister, Emmanuel Amakofibo, has said that when it comes to the fight against illegal mining, it doesn't matter whose ox is God. Now, let me just throw in this reference. We know as of now, as we speak, materially, we can all agree that the national organizer of the National Democratic Congress and the party's third national chairman are currently all subjects of interest in an ongoing investigation with respect to an allegation that both of them are involved in illegal mining activities. Yes, separately and categorically, they have denied their involvement, but it has not stopped the processes. And that is because of government's position that, look, if you are even an appointee of the government, regardless of your status or pedigree or stature, once you are suspected to be knee-deep and complicit, you can as well, be interrogated. That is the position of government. So it doesn't matter who is involved, and it is cutting across, and that same posture is extending to this matter. And that is why we can confidently assure you and all Ghanaians that this matter will come to a closure and a conclusion that all can see that is a true reflection of share independently executed work.
And so Ghanaians listening to you today should not have the fear that stories are being put together. There's a corroboration of accounts of different versions, such that we will not find an outcome. Because you mentioned a third vice chair, national organizer. That investigation has been on for some months now, and there hasn't been any word. And so it raises a question again that are we to expect this one as well to toe the same line, and perhaps we just be referred to an investigative body and there will be no word whatsoever again?
But when you say toe the same line, you seem to be already passing a subtle verdict of failure. When you say toe the same line,
not my thoughts, but these are the thoughts of a number of individuals you interact with every day, and on the back of this, they are asking.
That's okay. That's okay. But the longevity of the process, or as it were, the fact that it has delayed, I'm using that advisedly. The fact that the final verdict has been delayed does not mean in any way that the ongoing process is shoddy, or perhaps somebody is trying to hide anything. When it comes to matters of this nature, first of all, they involve the reputations of individuals. Then beyond the fact that they involve the reputations of individuals, the Galamsey network is particularly complex. And so you are careful when you are arriving at your verdict and your finalized conclusions on issues. We are looking for kingpins, the actual originators and architects and the very people who fashion out the ideas in the very first place. It's a very complex chain. And so even though it may be apparent that ABC, I mean, in the eye of the public, people may be pointing accusing fingers at XYZ, you embarking on an investigative process cannot also be guided or influenced by the sentiments and then draw your conclusions. It is far deeper than what is normally obvious to the eye. And that is how come some of these processes, and again, I'm saying this advisedly, drag a little. But let us be rest assured, for the fact that they have been commenced in the very first place under the authority of the sector minister and the blessing of the president himself, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, clearly the outcome would be one that reflects nothing but the truth. And so we want to pass this assurance on to all Ghanaians that if at any given point they have heard that, that an investigative process has begun in respect of any matter regarding illegal mining, the outcome would only reflect nothing but the truth in an objective, dispassionate, fair and transparent manner.
I want to take you back to the subject matter of what happened or what transpired on that Saturday. At the time, you had released a statement. When I say you, I mean NAIMOS and the ministry had released a statement that you had arrested some kingpins involved in the activity of Galamsey. I am tempted to believe that the team had this kingpin in custody when they went into the Hwediem township and all of this happened. Do you still have this Galamsey kingpin in custody and all of the other persons you arrested before entering Hwediem, or in the melee and all of what transpired, they are not in your custody any longer?
So maybe, perhaps, I am trying to walk into your mind and thinking at this moment. Maybe, perhaps, Smauna is thinking that because we have had other conversations beyond, we've explored other subjects beyond the incident that happened, I have now forgotten that I said I was not going to delve into the substance.
No. I'm not going into the subject of the matter. But there was a release specific. No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the Hwediem incident.
All I'm saying is that all of that, again, all I'm saying is that all of that, as of now, remain sensitive.
So we do not, we cannot know whether or not this Galam, because there was a statement I saw. Exactly. I think on the weekend I was somewhere, and then the notification popped up on my group page with my colleagues at work that NAIMOS makes major arrests, picks up Galamsey kingpin Burkinabe or so, before we even subsequently got to hear. But I'm asking, is that person still in custody, safe and tucked away? Because we've been on this campaign for a very long time that we need to go after the kingpins.
Everybody, that's the point I'm saying. Without wanting to get into the fine granular details, I'm saying everybody in that chain of network who was arrested on Saturday, as of now, they are all very crucial characters in the investigative process. And so for the fact that
means they are in custody and they are assisting with investigation.
So for the fact that everything ties into the main investigation, we are careful, like I'm saying, not to conversate on it. But of course, if they are going to help with the investigations, and if we'll be counting on them, clearly they cannot be at large and they cannot be on the loose, isn't it? Clearly
so it means they are in custody.
Clearly, they cannot be on the loose. I mean, under normal circumstances, if not for the fact that we are even getting this additional development, anybody who is arrested or anybody who has been arrested by the NAIMOS task force at any given point in time has always remained in custody, because
fantastic.
You are supposed to help with the investigations. So, essentially, where are you going? Nowhere.
Right. You mentioned NAIMOS is not perturbed by this. We're to expect more in terms of the activities. Obviously, we're not going to get details because these are operational-led activities. But the expectation is that more and more of such kingpins being picked up here and there.
Exactly. This is not a development that, like I said, is going to puncture the enthusiasm or deflates the passion of NAIMOS whatsoever. As I speak to you, the Secretariat is even more empowered and more fortified to do more because they have the trust of the sector minister, Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, that the matter will come to a definitive closure. More importantly, they understand that the sector minister has been supportive right from the very beginning. And so in as much as this we can all characterize and say was grossly unfortunate, it is not a huge disincentive that has suddenly disintegrated their momentum and then threw all of them aback. They still remain poised, and that is why we believe that continuously as they progress, the fight against illegal mining will soon be a thing of the past, just because they have a sector minister who is supportive, as well as the entire government machinery as well.
I digress more because I was hearing some go. Are you undertaking an operation somewhere and we're hearing commands or something? Okay, I got the indication it's a video from somewhere which was making that. And so I appreciate you. But finally from me, on the interactions with the sector minister for interior, are there timelines to which you're seeking to have all of this done? Obviously, these are investigations that do not fall within your remit, but for transparency's sake and for the fact that you want persons to see and believe that indeed NAIMOS is working, did the minister make a push in that regard?
So in the statement that I signed, we did say that the minister wants the process to be swift and expeditiously discharged. Assigning a specific timeline is one that I'm not sure I can do now. But be rest assured, this is something that will be finished in really no time, so that we move from this chapter of our national life and the fight against illegal mining.
Pakwesi, thank you very much for speaking to us. Pakwesi Shandorf he speaks for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources as well as NAIMOS. They are responsible for clamping down on activities of illegal mining. Says that investigations are underway, and so details have been curtailed at this juncture to ensure that the respective authorities overseeing this investigation can proceed and do a thorough enough job. We're still here, but we're going onto the phone lines right now and as well speak to Kwesi Jemfi Bwedu, Esquire, Asumatreme & Co. He's the lawyer for the Isutufi North Member of Parliament with respect to what it is that we've seen play out, and he's issued the statement. Council, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning here on 3FM.
Thank you so much.
We've seen the release. May I ask if you authored the statement as made public by the Isutufi North Member of Parliament, the Honourable Ebenezer Kweku?
Which of the release? Because the office has released one. That is, our law officers has released one, and there is one that is released on the letterhead of the MP.
I think it's the letterhead of the MP that I've seen. I haven't seen one from your chambers, and so perhaps you will use this as a starting point to get into the details of what you have been saying as well in that letter which your chambers has been releasing.
Very well. So, I mean, all that he stated in the letter is exactly as it is. There is no deviation, there is no delineation as to whatever the position is. Those are the actual facts on ground. And that is what it really is. There is no other story, any other information being circulated anywhere whatsoever is false. interestingly. And we would like to also add that the MP, together with Honorable Colin Zauda, are not in any way against they are not in any way fighting against the obstruction, or they are not in any way fighting against the president's directive. We are very much in support of fighting against the galamsey and illegal mining. We have not in any way mobilized a number of people to upset that balance, and it's rather unfathomable. So we are working hand in hand with the police to see to it that justice prevails. Unfortunately, I have to rush out, so if you permit me, I'd like to.
Just one more question, because you just joined us on the subject matter of the police. Was an invitation
just 1 minute
extended to the member of parliament? Do that for me just briefly, as you also have to rush out. And whether or not
I didn't get that. Yeah.
I'm asking whether the police has extended an invitation to him. Is he making an appearance today?
Officially, we have not, but we will avail ourselves before the CID headquarters just to assist the police to know that justice will totally prevail.
You've not been invited, but you are availing yourself to assist with investigations.
That is the case.
And for the member of parliament who continues to make the argument strongly that a lot of what has been put out is false, is there another course of action beyond availing yourself to the police you're seeking to take on his behalf, or you've had a conversation about?
Please take that again.
You have no...
Right, we'll have to reconnect. Unfortunately, technical challenges at this point in time. But the council, in one breath as well, says he has to be on his way hurriedly, seeking to make it somewhere else. We'll try possibly and raise him on the phone again and see if we can get two further lines from him in terms of...
I didn't get the question.
Yes, I was asking what the course of action is for him, considering he's making the case strongly that a lot of what we are hearing is not true, beyond the availing yourselves to the police.
All the other legal remedies entitled to a party who has been wrongly accused of acts. In fact, frankly, he has not even been accused of anything yet. So, till then, like we've mentioned, we are just there to assist with investigations concerning the supposed riot that happened. So, till then, let's just go to the police station. Let's go to the police headquarters, and then we will abreast ourselves with information on it. After that, then we'll proceed from there. Thank you.
All right, we'll leave it here. I'm sure we'll come back to you again in the course of the day to get a bit more in terms of that. He says he also has to be on his way. I have to apologize because the hope was to have had an extended conversation with him on this particular subject matter. It's one that has piqued quite a number of interest, and most rightly so. Technical challenge in one breath, also not allowing us to fashion through this conversation quickly. But there are other legs of this conversation that we're seeking to have. The second time really that we're seeing state law enforcement agencies come under attack over the operations and clamping down on the activities of illegal miners. Is there a cause for concern, even in terms of the approach we're adopting to deal with activities of illegal mining? It's also another aspect of this conversation that we'll be seeking to have. But be rest assured that appearance which is expected at the police CID today, we will be there and then bring you details of it. if you stay with us here on 3FM 92.7, as well as on our respective social media handles. We're doing 9 after 9 this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise. I want to talk to you about Bill's microcredits and how you can get some good money to cushion your business and do some other things as you may want to in this year and the years to come with Bill's microcredit. Working, you're not working, but you want to start a business, right? And money appears to be a challenge. Well, the message is quite simple to you this morning. Don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. If you're already running a business and you need more capital, or you're a salaried worker looking for extra funds, Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no susu savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today on 059-692-0833 or 030-220-0390 and get started. Remember, terms and conditions do apply. Call them up quickly and get whatever financial assistance you may need. You should be picking up your phone because I'm going to be showing you 2 easy ways by which you can get some money into your pocket, because the season of winning is here again. Kind courtesy the luckiest Africa. So pick up your phone, dial *712#. Choose option 1 to buy a ticket for yourself or option 2 to buy for somebody else. And if you want the system to generate a lucky ticket number for you, go with option 1 again. But if you prefer to choose your own ticket number, that's option 2. You confirm your payment with Momo and voila, you're in. But if you want to go via the internet ways, head to theluckiestafrica.com and register. Then you tap on community tickets to either pick your own lucky number or let the system choose one for you. You can buy a ticket for somebody else as well, and when it's time to pay, use Momo if you're in Ghana, or you pay with your card if you're abroad. One ticket can multiply your money by 500 times, and your entire community will win 10 times and over. This is your golden chance. Hop on and let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere. For a quick spot of commercials. When we return from these, then we'll get to delve into the other aspect of this conversation following the aftermath of that attack on the NAIMOS team. Bringing us to 16 past 9 here on 3FM Sunrise. I mentioned there were other legs of the conversation we're getting into, security to be specific. And we'll get onto the phone with Dr. Victor Doke shortly, but I just want to provide a bit more in terms of a background as to what it is really that we're seeing play out or have played out in the last 3 months, the second of such attacks which we've witnessed, right?
Destroying generational wealth and the people are suffering. Oh, I think about the future children.
So in the month of August of this year, at the time, there were different task forces which were going around clamping down on activities of illegal mining. Before all of them were collapsed, and then NAIMOS became the mother body with which all of these matters were looked into. The IGP Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force came under attack at Bonteso in the Ashanti region after seizing an excavator from an illegal mining site near Mansung Kwanta. The assailant, reportedly led by the local assembly member, pelted the team with stones in an attempt to prevent them from leaving the site. The crowd, made up largely of community members, confronted the officers despite warning shots being fired to disperse them. Leader of the team, ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil, and General Sergeant Ablekpe Mawena Yao sustained injuries during the confrontation. This was in August of 2025, and then November. Roughly 3 months in between, we've seen this attack again. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst, also a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping and Training Center. He's joining us this morning for a conversation. Doc, I appreciate you joining us this morning, and I trust that all is well with you.
Good morning to you, Howard.
I've just tried to go through memory lane, or go down memory lane, if I should say it correctly, as to the first of such an instance which we saw, widely reported, because it was a respected, I'll revise my words, it was a licensed task force which was supposed to go out and clamp down on activities of illegal miners. We have seen in the past different security groupings go in small pockets, forestry commission officials come under heavy attack and the likes by illegal miners. But now we're seeing community members beginning to attack the task force that is being sent out to deal with Galamsey and its ravages on our environment. Would you say we are entering realms where possibly the fight will be lost completely?
Yeah, thank you very much. I agree lastly with your assertion with regards to the fight being lost at some point if we don't take drastic measures. And I use the word drastic because the two incidents you have enumerated point to the fact that state mandated bodies fighting against this criminality are under attack. And it's the state itself that is under attack. Now, what is the state doing about it? With all its arsenals and authority and power and art. Now, let's look at the recent happenings where a senior-most officer of the Ghana military and its men, coupled with other security sister agencies, personnel there, have come and attacked. Now, anything could have happened with regards to S. Kenobua had assessed that his life and that of his men were under threat. He would, or could have, ordered his men to fire for their safety, but that didn't happen. And I think we should commend Kenobua for maintaining calm and keeping his composure in the midst of all that. Now, what are the contributions of the political elite in all of this? Okay? Those in the realm of affairs, and those at the sidelines, okay, fueling this illegality. And it's very dangerous that we have some political elites fueling activities such as this, and then what? Enabling the young youth in the communities to attack the state, which is very unfortunate. Now, if IGP has, initiated investigations, should be speedily done, and then we hope the perpetrators will be brought to book. Whoever is an MP or whatever found culpable, I think immunity should be scrapped out of it, because we are dealing with a crisis that, if we don't handle well, it can blow up in our faces.
Right.
How do we resource NAIMOS itself? Okay, the operational capacity. So far, there's one strategy we are using, and it's by land. Why can't we invest in air support with regards to providing unmanned area vehicles, drones, or possibly even acquiring a helicopter? Through what? Have a partnership, or even seeking assistance from what? International partners to fight this menace. Other than that, these illegal miners have known the modus operandi of NAIMOS, which is by land, and they know where and when to what? Resist these attempts. So we need to look at all these areas and invest heavily in them. If we need to equip or purchase more arms for NAIMOS, more ammunition for them, we should. And I think the fight now has to be dealt with ruthlessly. I use the word ruthlessly because we can't have community members ganging up against the state, which is very unfortunate. What will happen the next time? I mean, we've lost men in the past, okay? Captain Mahama, we've lost 8 people, all in the name of what? Galamsey. Are we willing to lose other, members of the security forces because we are not being ruthless enough in this?
Off the top of my head, I know that we have in the past acquired drones which we do not know the whereabouts of, because we were promised we're going to use drones in the fight against illegal mining, amongst many other things. We do not know the whereabouts of these drones. Considering the present challenge we have, and it's important to make the point that we have lost quite a lot to Galamsey, because we've lost ministers of state because of activities of Galamsey. And from intelligence we have gathered, there is not enough in terms of air support for even activities which can help in fighting these activities of illegal miners. That leaves us handicapped as to even the solutions you're providing. That, look, we should be having an overview in terms of when the land forces are on ground and going about in this operation. We should be having support base from up to ensure that this is done swiftly and ruthlessly. We do not have that now. And so it does appear we're still left with just on the ground, and on the ground we're facing resistance from citizens. Is this a failing on the part of the district security councils as well in helping NAIMOS carry out its activity?
There's a lot of challenge with regards to its agency collaboration in the fight against illegal mining. Okay, how do these district security councils even understand security-wise when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, to even provide the right intelligence with regards to areas where this activity is rampant, or even those who are behind them? Now, you see, we tend to, try to hang behind and then put nice faces and then leave the main issues untouched. We are in a country where people know who comes into their community and starts mining, but people are shielded. Back to the question, we haven't explored all options with regards to area power. Now you have the minister, Honorable Boa, and then the gold board itself provided what support with regards to vehicles for NAIMOS. I think it is very good. How can we now garner support and then purchase some drones, some UAVs to support NAIMOS and look at what short, middle to long-term results? I think the men themselves are ready. They've shown the capacity to even come under such severe threat. Okay, they are ready. Now, if we don't push harder with regards to facilitating the resources for them, it demoralizes them. And when they are demoralized, then the fight against LSA becomes a lost cause. And who wins? Illegality and criminality wins. We get to know of what? Just of weapons and ammunition, foreign nationals in there. We ask ourselves, where do these weapons come from and how do they find their ways into our country? There are lapses already. We haven't even had what approaches to, and now we are talking about this. So I think we need to shift the focus now to other options which have been mentioned, and invest heavily with regards to resources there for the men to be able to achieve massive goals. Other than that, Mauna, I'm sorry to say the real conflict which hasn't started yet, and when it blows in our faces, we will not be able to handle it.
And on all of the resources, we asked the question as well, are we perhaps also approaching this fight wrong in terms of NAIMOS and its related activities? Because it's not the first time we're seeing security deployment into forest areas, into communities seeking to clamp down on activities of illegal mining. Yes, there are government intervention programs seeking to persuade young people to move away from the pits to find alternative sources of livelihood, amongst many others. There are those who argue that, look, the fight against Galamsey perhaps is not holistic enough. Reason why community members feel security persons coming into their vicinity and wanting to stop an activity they find normal is a threat to them, and they want to rise up and want to fight them.
Yeah. So I think holistically, yes, there's something wrong. Once you have an approach, you need to revise the approach. You know, some few weeks back in Center, KIPTC held, a forum, the Reflections on Security series, where we looked at Galamsey. And some of these issues came out about how we are dealing with the fight itself. Okay? Now, one assertion was that previously what has been done is just like the current trend is happening with regards to repetitive mistakes in doing things. Yes, although there have been some successes, challenges still persist. And that is why, along the line, we need to evaluate your approaches and how you're doing things. So collectively, you're dealing with one aspect, but forgetting to do other aspect, which is those shadow stakeholders behind all of this. Names have been mentioned. What has happened to those names who have been mentioned? Have they even been arrested, tried, or prosecuted? No. What are the punitive sanctions or measures against these young men who have been arrested? You don't get to know anything apart from the arrest, showcase on television, and that's it. We should see more of those things. And then those who are investigating will learn a lesson. The chiefs, community leaders, all of these people have to be involved. Other than that, the same approach which we have implemented would yield nothing. So I think politically we need to revisit the approach itself. Look at what and what we need to reinvent or introduce to support the fight against illegal mining. Because it's as if we are comfortable with one particular approach. Now, arguments over states of emergency and security zones. What has come of the security zones itself? We haven't had anything yet. Nothing of that sort. And if we take an approach by declaring a state of emergency, then we are sure to see a massive result. Then because we release a full force of the security from whoever is involved, whether political elites or not. If we don't do these things, then we are emboldening the youth, we are emboldening those political elites behind these activities, and then it means we have nowhere to go or what to do with regards to this fight.
Right, Doc, on the subject matter of what happened over the weekend, we've been told that there's investigations underway. The Member of Parliament at the center of this is expected to be at the police CID headquarters today. Back at Shidium, where this incident took place, what should be or what should have been the preliminary steps taken by the police in the aftermath of that attack, such that details, clues, perhaps it's not a crime scene though, so perhaps I'll have to ease on the word clues, but we're picking up from the incident such that, as you said, we can arrest persons who think they can take the law into their own hands and want to attack officials of state, and have that serve as deterrent. Because now we're just being told a member of parliament who assists in investigations, but as to what is expected to happen on the ground, we haven't got details of that just as yet.
Yeah, very right. Now, you see, even the person in question is denying that he ordered or brought on site some group of men. Ideally, the process was to arrest those people. But that is what I'm about. The resources was happening. These additional guys who came on site because they are obstructing justice. Okay? So that is one area we need to look at. Reinforcing our personnel with regards to NAIMOS. This was illegality. Now, in that situation, we wouldn't want to touch anybody else again, apart from those people who are seen in the act itself. And for the third entity, the leader. Now, they are proceeded with regards to arresting the entity, which I have a problem with. And that is why I say, if we don't take a full hiding and perpetuating crime. So, in that case, what happened was the best option for the security service. Okay? And there was nothing that could be done. Now, Colonel and his men and the police could have decided to fire warning shots, but they did it because then they will run out of ammo. What happens? Anything could have happened. So, in all of this, I'm sorry to say, Mauna, we won't get anywhere because aside evidence being there, the MP being on site, bringing men, he's denying it. So where do we go from here?
Means this investigation, which is currently underway, pointless, it will amount to nothing.
I'm sorry to say that. I'm not being pessimist, but there's a pattern in this country with regards to some investigations like this. You don't see the head of it. And I'm sorry to say we may not see mistakes.
Right then, Doc, we'll leave it here. I'm sure there will be other avenues for us to have conversations on the back of this again and again. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping and Training Center as well, joining us this morning on this conversation. He says on the back end of the conversation that really not expectant of a lot coming out from this investigation. We will have to be proven right in terms of the expectation by quite a number of individuals as to what it is that is expected from this investigation. We've been on this particular subject matter for quite a while. I get the indication as well there are quite a number of protesters on the Nsawam Kumasi Highway who are vowing to stop ongoing construction there. Not quite clear exactly what it is, the basis upon which they are on this particular one today. We'll seek to get an understanding from my colleague George Quinn, who's there for us. But in the meantime, it's match day and the stadium is where the fun and the action lives. Look, wherever you are on the 9th of November, right? The 9th of November. You should be making your way to the Accra Sports Stadium because the biggest of all clashes is happening. It's match day, the rivalry, the history, the passion, the super clash. Hearts of Folk versus Asante Kotoko. Hearts of Folk versus Asante Kotoko. And here my biases will show. Phobia. My biases will show. But we're turning up on Sunday, the 9th of November at the Accra Sports Stadium, where we're witnessing the pride of Accra meets the power of Kumasi to battle for supremacy. Gates are opening at 1 p.m. Come early and enjoy happy hour with free Wi-Fi and free entry to the Adekoka stand. The free Wi-Fi there is very, very important because when you enter the Accra Sports Stadium and the place is packed, jam-packed, you won't receive any network reception. We've got DJs, MCs, hype men, and a fan zone bursting with games, giveaways, and free drinks from sponsors. Influencers, celebs, campus crews will be there, turning the stands into a party. Look, there's an entire festival planned for the Super Clash, Hearts of Folk versus Kumasi Asante Kotoko. You should be there Sunday, the 9th of November, 1 p.m. Gates open, Adekoka stand, free Wi-Fi. What more? What more would you need as an incentive to make your way there? Free drinks, DJs, MCs, turning up the place, the entire place becoming a jamboree of some sort. But at the end, Heart of Folk will pipe Kotoko. Fantastic from DJ Abia. Phobia. On Sunday, we're going to the Accra Sports Stadium. That's where all of the action is expected. Hearts of Folk versus Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Gates open at 1 p.m. DJs, MCs, hype men, fan zone, bursting with games, giveaways, free drinks. I mean, the incentive is so much more that you just cannot afford not to be there. The boys are good, oh yes. Be quiet and don't be silly. No, I'm a Heart of Folk fan, Kunzo. I need to reiterate that strongly. And that we have to beat Kotoko on Sunday. We must. With clean sheet Asari in post, Charlie. But let's take you to the Nsawam Kumasi Highway right now because, like I was mentioning to you, there's a protest ongoing. George Quinny is there for us and he'll help us get an understanding as to why people are blocking the road and causing traffic. George, thank you very much for joining us this morning on the 3FM Sunrise. Describe to us exactly what's happening and why people are choosing to block a very busy road of that nature.
Yes, so these are protesters, and these protesters are residents of South Urban. So there's an ongoing construction here. People that really apply this road to Kumasi can testify. It's a five lane, so making 10 lanes. So it tells you that it's a big project. So prior to this very project, there was this engagement between residents, opinion leaders, and chiefs. And the chiefs made them aware that they needed a footbridge at their end because of there are 10 busy schools here. So children as little as 5 years cross the road. So when the project is done and then there's no footbridge, it means that they have to use the main highway. Of course, their lives will be in danger. So this is why they are protesting. They are not doing this for themselves. They are doing it for their children, the generation to come. And so it's a serious issue for them. So it was meant to be a peaceful protest, but clearly sometimes they want to just put the laws into their hands and attach some sort of security. That's why they are blocking vehicles from from moving. So that's the scene here at Sapperman. But apart from Sapperman, residents of Shipole and the Kogiban also joined Sapperman to also, be a part of the protest. They also want footbridges at their respective communities, Marina.
Footbridges is a subject of concern. Have they tabled this to any person, any authority before engaging in this activity, just by way of clearing that out of the way?
Okay, so I know they spoke to the assemblyman, and who is even part of this very protest. But prior to this very protest, they had engaged relevant authorities about the importance of getting a footbridge. So the original design should have gotten a footbridge at this very end. But you ask, why would you wait until the construction will come to a certain level and you say you want footbridge? Apparently, they've been asking and inquiring, and then it's like, oh, they'll do it, but they just realize that these very pillars that indicate that there's going to be a setup of the footbridge, they don't have that at their community. So that's when the contractors made them aware that there's no footbridge at this end. So it's a reason maybe they started reporting, but you'll be thinking that, they just waited until it got to this level before they did it. But they were told at the latter part. So they have to do it before it's fully completed, Marina. But the assemblyman is aware of this.
And the traffic situation, I don't want to imagine. How is it like?
Marina, personally, I've actually been, I can testify to this very traffic. So the place meanders, and so it's just like a slim lane. So just imagine protesters trying to prevent just one vehicle. The numbers that pile up at the back. So it's a crazy traffic here. But the police has actually intervened as it stands now. But it's a go slow traffic as it stands now. But the earlier one where the people had to block the vehicles has been prevented by the police. So it's quite better than past hours.
And help us understand, is it both lanes? Because we know there's the Sawam headed to Kumasi, and then there's
stretch.
Only the Accra bound stretch.
So the Kumasi bound stretch is not part of it, but they're just using the Accra bound stretch of the highway, because that is closer to the community, Sapperman.
Right, and so as it stands now, the police has intervened. Traffic is moving.
There was some sort of reinforcement, because they're getting wilder.
Were there altercations, because you say there was reinforcement?
Yeah, there was this gentleman who started doing press-ups at the side of any vehicle. So the police actually warned him, and he kept doing it. So there was some sort of that, it was actually prevented from getting worse. But as it stands now, we are actually heading to the assembly to present a petition, and this would table every concern that they want addressed.
Which assembly is this again?
It's the Amasaman.
That's the Gan West Municipal Assembly.
Yeah, Gan West, exactly. So we are that's close to the station. So we are just on our way going to present that prayer. So we want to take some key words from the MCE, and if really.
George, we're losing you on the telephone line. If you could kindly reposition. Did you say that you're with the MCE now, and we can get word from him?
We'll talk to the MCE and know how urgent they want to address this very concern. Because clearly, according to the residents here, if they're not giving any sort of assurance, they will actually prevent the ongoing construction. That's the highway.
Right then, George. Are you close to the MC, or this is an intent of you getting him subsequently?
I'm not close to him.
Right. George, thank you. I'm sure we'll get updates subsequently at the midday news and other bulletins as well here on 3FM 92.7. And we're drawing the curtain slowly, but Crosby's been here. He's here with me all throughout. We just went to Amasaman where there was concerns of footbridges and road blockades. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, you find us there and you see some of the videos. Also, we'll try and just read some of the comments. A number of you have been sharing with us as well on this particular subject matter and the others that we've been bringing details of to you and some others. Just lots of good mornings coming from a number of you who've been following the stream. So, Crosby, we've heard from a number of individuals on different subject matters. Are we leaving this place now satisfied that we should trust that all is well and there will be no cause for concern in terms of investigation?
You're talking about NAIMOS, eh? So, for now, all we can wait for is that the investigations will happen, and that they will happen as early as possible. They will happen swiftly. And we're also hoping that when the investigations happen, we are told the outcome of the investigations. This is not something that happened under wraps, so we don't expect the investigations to happen and then they will be holding some information to themselves. So let us know the outcome of the investigation, and then when the outcome of the investigation is made public, then the public can also help make recommendations to the appropriate authorities on what to do in relation to what has happened. But if we don't know the investigation, or if the investigations drag and everybody loses interest, then it means the political will to fight Galamsey, to fight illegal mining, will not be there. Again, this presents one of the best tests of Mr. Mahama's desire to fight illegal mining known as Galamsey. He should take advantage of it, and let us know how he's dealing with it, and then set a good example, a good precedent to other government officials, other top people, other kingpins involved in the fight against illegal mining, of course, after the investigation. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, and we're hoping that in this case, Ghana will not be Ghana. Ghana will be serious about these kind of things.
That's Le Professor, as we like to call him, Noble Crosby. And it's time for us to do birthdays as we draw the curtains on today's edition of the show. Birthday song, Diana, is very important.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.